Well, I was working, and I've been working pretty hard lately, and then I don't know. It was just difficult getting everything together. I don't know. I had a meeting, and I was really tired, but I've been feeling really stressed. And then at the meeting, I don't know, I was just, I don't know, I felt really bad. I felt really bad.
I can see that it's even hard to talk about it. It sounds like it's been a very difficult time for you.
Yes, it has been. But I've kept on working because I got this position, and I've been working. I mean, I have a lot of responsibility, and it's really important for me to do the work well. And I'm a social worker, and I take care of. I'm leading a team of social workers, so it's really important work, and the clients that we have are important, and my team is important, and I really try to do it really well.
Lisa, I'm hearing you stress what really matters to you. Would it be okay if we started to write down some of what's important to you and what matters as we talk? You were talking about what's important to you and how responsible you are. Could you tell me a little more about that?
Well, I mean, if I don't do my work right, and if I don't support my social workers in the team, then I mean they won't be able to take care of the clients and so on and so on. So that's what I feel, that it's really important that I do it well. But the problem has become now that some of the social workers have actually complained to my boss that I'm not that I'm demanding, and that somehow, and this feels really, really awful. And that they don't tell it to me, and that he says they're afraid of me, and that this.
Could we look at that in a little more depth? Because I'm hearing how important it is that you do your work well and how responsible you are. And at the same time, this has led to a kind of a critical an event at work that's brought you into conflict with some of your team. And you used the word, you said you were experienced as demanding. I'm going to write that down if that's okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? What were you charged with? What did they say about you?
They said that in our meetings that I tell them, or I demand, like I'm not empathetic or something, that I don't, because when they it was especially one worker that said that she was having a hard time, and that I wasn't really being, I wasn't listening to her, but I could, when she wasn't doing her work well, and so that when I talked about this, how she should do it and so on, and then she felt that, or I don't know, then she didn't talk to me. She actually.
You were about to say she felt. Do you have any sense of, what that was like for her?
Well, the problem is that I haven't been able to feel. I mean, I'm so focused on how to do the work well. I can realize that in these moments that I can now, when I've heard, I can realize this happens, that I don't actually hear, because I am so stressed about everything that I should be doing, and I haven't been sleeping, and
sounds quite overwhelming.
Yes.
So there's something about when you're in this very responsible position, this role that you take of being responsible towards others, that then has led to some kind of way of relating to others that they might experience as demanding, or you said unsupportive. Or that's how your colleague felt. unsupported in some way. Is that fair to say? Is that accurate?
Yeah, I could imagine, yes.
Okay. And if we go
Yes.
back a step here to this kind of burden or responsibility you take on, I'm just wondering, towards whom, or, when you think about how important it is that you do your work well, who are you thinking about? What, in relation to whom or what?
Well, if I don't do it well, then I will, well, it's partly that I feel that I will have failed.
Okay. So behind all of this hard work and responsibility, there's this idea of failure kind of lurking in the background.
Yes.
Okay. That sounds painful.
Yes.
It sounds like a real driver of some of this.
Yeah, and I don't actually want to think about this.
This is hard to think about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't want, it's not about me, it's about them. I want to think about them, that I should be in my position. My role and my responsibility is to support them and to ensure that it's done well. And it shouldn't be about my failure.
May I say something? Do you know what I'm noticing, Lisa, as you talk, is the shoulds that you, the way you speak about yourself. This shouldn't be about me. This should be about the work. There's quite a strong voice there. Do you notice that? It's the voice that maybe keeps you away from thinking about some of these things.
Because I don't know any other alternative. I mean, why shouldn't I? If I should do this right, and I should, if I don't, then it. Well, I don't know what the other alternative would be.
Okay. So maybe we are talking about a way of being. So not only, well, let's try and put a name on this way of being. What I used the word should, or that's what I heard. So what tone does that have for you, that inner voice?
Well, it's demanding now. I can see.
Yeah.
It's demanding. It's demanding. I demand of myself. I expect of myself that I should be able to.
Okay. So this is maybe where the voice of I should comes out of. So while the problem has been stated as your colleague experiencing you as demanding and maybe unsupportive, we're noticing that you're quite demanding of yourself as well. That this is maybe I'm going to write S's here, like self to self. This is a way you sometimes treat yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that like? How are you left? Like if you are quite demanding of yourself, where does that lead? Where does that go to?
Well, now when I see that I feel unsupported. I feel I'm alone, and I should be able to do everything myself, and I try.
Okay.
And
I'm going to write these words down because they're so poignant.
And this doesn't feel good either.
Uh-huh. I heard, I think the word alone just struck me, and I heard you say, I try. What else did you say there? Because this is the one that...
I try, I feel that nobody supports me. Nobody has ever supported me. I have to manage by myself, and I have managed by myself, and I've been able to do things very well, but it doesn't, it makes me, I can feel, it makes me feel, sad.
And often, as you've been speaking, there's a big sigh. You know,
Yeah.
so there's some very strong feelings behind that unsupported, or in that unsupported place. Okay. Lisa, when you're talking about this very painful place of being unsupported, you mentioned your childhood, you mentioned not having experienced much support growing up. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, like I said earlier, my dad was an alcoholic, and my mom and dad, they fought a lot, and then they divorced, and I was 6 years old.
You were 6 when they divorced.
Yeah, and I remember that I was afraid. Well, I was afraid when they were fighting, of course, but my mom was, she was always crying, and so nobody probably really knew I was afraid, I could imagine, and then.
Okay, so this word I've just written down, afraid, fits with being unsupported. You're saying it wasn't followed by support. When you were afraid, you managed that by yourself.
Yes.
Okay, so while this is an important word, I wonder, does it belongs here? Does it belongs as part of that memory?
Yeah, yeah, or maybe the unsupported was maybe more like after they split up.
Okay.
And I was alone with my mother, and I supported I had to support my mother somehow. She was so unhappy. I don't know. I can't believe I was only 6 now when I tell you about it. But somehow it felt like I had to
manage yourself. So afraid. So you were afraid, and I'm thinking about the conflict between your parents and what was frightening about that, because I'm thinking for a child that's like, it's a very frightening thing. It's unpredictable. It's hard to know what's going on. So there's all of that that's kind of frightening you, and left you in a very unsupported, alone place. And a bit like the situation we're talking about today, you go on and you try to manage by yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've managed quite well.
You also mentioned, though, that part of managing back then was in relation to your mother, that she cried a lot, that she found this a very difficult time. What role did you take in relation to her? How did you handle that?
I was actually I was the only one she had, so I was together with her. She kept me really close all the time, and when she hugged me and so on, I could feel that she felt better, and so so and I've thought about this, of course, and when I've
So your mum was the one crying. I'm just thinking about how much it sounds like you were almost being her parent, or you were performing some of the roles or responsibilities that you'd naturally think about a parent doing for a child, but she was crying and you were doing some of the soothing.
Yes. And I've realized this. Realized this when I've thought about this. So somehow I know about this, but I don't really know how it's affected me, or like.
It sounds like you've worked tremendously hard over the years to know this, the fact that you can kind of see and look at that time in your life and how afraid and unsupported you were, but also how you supported your own mother through that. But at some level, while you know this, it's having repercussions now, isn't it? Or it's
yeah, it
it's
makes me feel. Yeah,
out.
now it makes me feel really sad.
We need to put that word sad somewhere on the map, and it's not there yet. I'm wondering where it belongs. Is it part of what you feel when you feel unsupported and alone? Does the sadness belong there?
Yes.
And yet what's interesting is you then try to manage by yourself. So what do you do with those feelings? Where does the sadness, the aloneness, what happens there?
There's no place for it. There's no place for it.
Okay. So we don't know yet what you do with those. We might have to find out something about how
I keep going.
Okay.
I keep going. Yeah.
I keep going.
I keep going because
Okay.
I mean.
So.
Because if nobody's gonna help me and nobody's gonna support me, like I might as well take charge.
Mm-hmm. And you manage yourself by keeping going. So that's another way in which you relate to yourself. But part of that is kind of tells the sadness and the aloneness to, there's no room for them.
No.
Okay. So there's something that happens there which we must find out a little bit more about, which is how to represent that. But we know now that you keep going, you push those aside, there's something, you ignore those feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So maybe something about ignoring my feelings.
And it's
But-
worked
Yeah.
until now.
The other bit, though, that we know from childhood, which may be important now too, is that you don't ignore, you didn't ignore your crying mother. You know, you became the kind of soothing, supportive person to others, but yet while ignoring your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I see what you
Yeah.
mean.
I just wonder how much that happens today, because I'm thinking about the important role you play,
Yeah.
you know, as a social worker, and how much you must respond to other people's needs, a bit like maybe you did with your own mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're back to work now, Lisa. What's that like?
Well, in the beginning it felt really good. I'd rested and so, and I felt I had energy, and then I've been working really hard, and there are lots of things going on, but I don't know. I don't really think this is helping.
And I'm noticing the tapping. You sound impatient.
Yeah, well, you know, I had to leave work now, and there are so many things going on there. I really should be there. You know, I really should be taking care of them and everything. I really don't think I have time with this, you know.
Can I ask you to take a moment to think about where you might be at the moment on your map? Do you remember the role that we called the I should state?
Yes.
Yeah?
And I feel I'm right back there again. I know I'm right back there again.
So you're right back here in your
Yeah.
responsible,
Yes.
striving, attending to others.
Yeah, I'm right back there again. And I mean, because right now I'm also thinking about all the things that I know I should do there. And yeah, and I really don't know if this has helped, because I mean, I was away from work and everything, and okay, it felt good, and I know, and so on, and I think it was important what we did and so on, but I really need to be there, and I don't know if there's going to be any end to this. I don't know. It's just as it was before.
Okay. So what we're seeing is right now, you're every part of this loop, you're demanding of yourself at the moment. I should be looking after others. You're attending to others. Is part of that ignoring then what's going on for yourself? Is that part of what's happening right now?
I don't have time to, yes, it is part of it. I don't have time to stop, and yes.
Okay, so you see that, but it sounds like you're saying, I don't know how to be any other, or I have to be this way. It has to be this way. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I don't know any other way, and I don't know. I don't know. Do you have any other solution? I mean, we've done this, and I've seen this, and
so it sounds like this is almost troublesome knowledge now. You've got a wider lens. You can see all of this, but stepping out or stepping off still doesn't seem like an option to you.
No.
Because I'm thinking
I don't
about.
think you realize what my work is like. Really.
That I don't appreciate maybe.
No, I really have lots of responsibility, and if I don't do it, and I mean, I've been respected for what I've done. Also, I've gotten. I know I'm good at it. Also.
So it sounds like there's lots of reasons why you might keep doing what you're doing, or why you feel like you have to keep doing what you're doing.
Yes.
But we also can see where that leads, where that gets you, because you can do this for so long, keep going and striving and attending to others, but eventually you get overwhelmed, exhausted and depressed, and you collapse.
Yeah, but it's kind of like I don't really want to think. I don't want to believe that that's true. I don't want to believe that that's true. I know I was there, but now I'm not there.
No, we know now you're back here, don't we?
Yeah.
And my concern you asked about, is there anything else you can do? And I suppose my concern in immediately responding to that and maybe trying to think about what you can do is I'm afraid that I'm just going to join you there, that I'm going to be part of something that's quite problematic, that I might join you in this dance and tell you, demand more of you. But it sounds like it's just really, really hard to stop and pause right now, or just to be with all this troublesome knowledge. There's such an urge to keep going.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I can feel it in my belly. I can feel it as a real, kind of almost like an anxiety in the room. Is that how you feel at the moment?
Yeah. But when you said it, it kind of made me feel. I don't know. It kind of didn't feel. It's as if something let go. When you said that I do this, that I'm ignoring my feelings. I don't know. It doesn't just. It feels a little bit. Like right now, I'm not thinking about all the work things.
Okay.
So something feels different.
So we need to keep bringing this ignored part of you into the room, because she gets deeply overlooked by the responsible part of you.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to think about how we hold on to or stay aware of this ignored part, because this is the part that's sad and alone and unsupported.
Yeah, but there's such a big gap. Because when I'm there and when I'm working and when I feel I'm really doing something well and I'm carrying my responsibility, then that's so far away.
So it's almost as if it's a dilemma that either I have to be responsible and caring for others and ignoring myself, or you just don't know how to bring this part in.